Hello, good morning and welcome to Out of the Box Online Day 5. I'm Dan from Marzocco. We have had a really fun, jam-packed week full of roaster spotlights, masterclasses, live music, and some fantastic panel discussions to kick off every single day, ranging from how COVID-19 affected the coffee supply chain through to coffee and cycling culture yesterday, with more in between. Today, we are honoured to be bringing you a panel with the fantastic team at Wagg, some of the grads and some of the recruitment team they work with as well, on sourcing, supporting and nurturing talent. I'm going to be quiet for a second and we'll go around the room and everybody can introduce themselves. I'll let you in and then you can just say who you are, what you do and where you come from. Eve. You're on mute, Eve.
I'll go again. It's going well, right? Hi, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Eve Wagg, and I'm the founder and CEO of Well Grounded. I just give a little bit about Well Grounded. We're a series of training academies, coffee training academies, supporting unemployed people into work, into our fantastic industry. We have been delivering all our services online and virtually since the pandemic, and are actually going back to face-to-face delivery next week, which is really exciting, hence why I'm in our academy in King's Cross. It's really lovely to be here with some of our graduates and our employers.
Thank you very much, Eve. Ashely.
Hi, I'm Ashely, and I am a well-grounded graduate. I graduated from the program in March this year, so just before everything kicked off. And I'm a barista at St. Nine Coffee in Southwark.
Fantastic, thank you.
Sorry, is that me?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry. I'm Nick, so I'm Nick Owen, so I'm the owner of Perkins. We're a coffee and bottle shop up in Tottenham in North London. We were due to open back in April, but obviously that didn't quite go to plan, so we've just recently opened our doors about 4 weeks ago after kind of running some delivery services over lockdown, and we recently recruited through Well Grounded with the help of Eve and her team. So yeah, and I'm delighted to be part of the discussion. Thanks.
Fantastic. Congratulations on opening, especially during.
Thank you. Cheers.
Congrats on having staff via Well Grounded as well. Big round of applause.
Yeah.
Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I graduated from a Well Grounded course in December last year, and since then I've been working at the Gentleman Baristas.
Fantastic. Actually, that's a nice full circle moment because Gentleman Baristas kicked us off on the Monday with Henry.
Yeah,
so
I watched that one.
Nice.
Really good.
Just before we move ahead, I'd like to know a little bit more and let our viewers and followers know about Support the 234 initiative. Would you like to introduce a bit, and then Olivia, you can say what you were doing for Support the 234?
Yeah, so I'm representing with our limited edition t-shirts, which are still available if anyone should want one. So for those of you that don't know, Well Grounded has supported 234 individuals through our training programs. They're a blended program of specialty coffee skills with a specialty coffee association, but also employability support, mentorship, counselling, and then we have a free it's all free for the learner, and then people transition into work across the industry, and we have, of those, 193 have moved into work over the last 2.5 years. So our 234 graduates are very special to us, and they have multiple different needs and different challenges that have prevented them being able to access employment in coffee. And obviously COVID has had a massive impact on not only the individuals that we work with, but our whole industry and community. And so what we wanted to do was create a campaign that was focused on supporting our graduates in the wider hospitality industry. So we launched a crowdfunder to do that, and every day one of our network, our friends, family, partners, the industry, Marzocco, you can talk about what you did, and our graduates did a challenge that included the number 234. So I was just joking that my husband cut off 23.4 centimeters of my hair live, and I haven't done anything about it, so it's wonky, and all to raise money to ensure that our services are there to provide all our graduates, but the wider hospitality industry, with access to employment, access to training, access to food packages, care parcels, thanks to our kind of sponsors at our Morrison's and Ashely's law firm, and also transition more of our services online, so that as we go back to face-to-face delivery, we are able to support the same number of people utilising a blended learning virtual training platform, which will keep everyone updated with. So yeah, that's what the campaign was for, and we smashed our target, which is amazing. Yeah, so.
Congratulations on doing that. I know so many people worked really, really hard to be able to do some challenges. We had some very sore feet and sore legs in the Marzocco UK office. Not going to lie, I've seen some ice packs put on feet over the course of the past week, but it was nice to be able to help and support, raise money, and also do something that's healthy as well. So thank you. Olivia, what did you do for your challenge for 234?
I didn't do a challenge so much. I contributed to the Well Grounded blog. So I wrote a piece on lockdown and how coffee has really helped me and my mental health. Because I find you can get quite like in a household full of people, you just want something to kind of escape to sometimes. And especially it's been quite hot recently, and throughout lockdown, being indoors isn't like that great. So I was just talking about how I was making loads of iced V60s and how it kind of gave me just a taste of something else, a little getaway, you could say, with like tropical flavors of my coffee notes and stuff. So I wrote a blog about that.
So how can we access that? On the Well Grounded website?
Yeah, on the Well Grounded blog.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the context on that as well, and for more information on what Well Grounded are. Okay, well, let's go through some questions for today's panel. So we'll start with, how was it looking for work during the COVID-19 situation, and how did you manage the process? Yeah, Ashely, if you'd like to share your experience.
Yeah, so because I completed the Well Grounded program right before lockdown, I kind of wanted to transition into work as a barista, and I was really just looking for any opportunities, and you know, they were really thin on the ground for a while, but I was applying for lots of different positions, any that I could find really, and I was taking a lot of virtual trainings with Well Grounded, which was really helpful, and also Claire from Well Grounded was incredibly helpful with job support. She was finding positions as well, and she was able to really provide insights about some of the places I was applying to, and also they helped me with interview prep, so I was feeling ready kind of to transition back into working at a coffee machine when I hadn't been for kind of 12 weeks or so. So that process was, it was challenging, but it was really great to have Well Grounded kind of supporting me and on my side for that process. And I found a position that I'm really excited about. It's a new coffee shop as well, so we are also kind of figuring out opening and stuff. So we're opening this week, which is really exciting.
Olivia, how did you manage the process?
So as I said, I was working for the Gentlemen Baristas. So I retained my job and I was furloughed, and I'm still currently furloughed, just waiting for like more shifts and more opening hours. But GB are like a brilliant company to work for. They truly do deliver on their ethos of like well-mannered coffee. The founders like Ed and Henry are extremely supportive of their staff, and including my manager Will as well at the Borough branch. They were just very honest about the situation and just reassuring the team that we were gonna like keep our jobs at like the absolute best. So I was confident that I would retain my job, thankfully. I'm quite grateful to be in this position. And I was actually originally employed by GB because of Well Grounded. So I had like a work experience there, and then they employed me off the back of my work there. So I am really indebted to both Well Grounded and Gentlemen Baristas.
Amazing. It seems like one of the things that's popped up over the course of this week is that the best thing to do during situations like this is stay in communication, just keep having conversation. And that's been, I think, the people who've been able to thrive the most are the ones who just kept the conversation going and almost I know I've had a lot of like online almost therapy sessions with a lot of people from the network, chatting for 45 minutes, checking in like, how are you? Like, really, how are you? And it's helped me a lot, and I'm sure you guys must do the same. Nick, how have you managed to keep the positivity going during COVID?
Well, it's been a challenge, but it's been enjoyable in some parts. I think positivity-wise, I tried to kind of change my offer quite early on when I figured that we weren't going to be able to open when we wanted. So as well as the coffee side of things, we run kind of a bottle shop, so beers and wines. So I transitioned kind of deliveries on that side of things, and that helped see me through. The government support has also been kind of quite helpful for us in terms of small business grants and things like that. So that's helped keep us a bit positive. And I think now, since things have started to kind of unlock, it's felt nice, I think, being in kind of a local high street where there's been quite a sense during lockdown of people supporting local business. We've seen that quite a lot in Tottenham. The community is really great for that. So I think that's kind of given me a bit of hope, I think, for the future, that once we kind of move out of lockdown, that kind of local aspect will, I think, help us to kind of be a successful business kind of going forwards. Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much, because it's nice to just have the positive vibes after what everybody's been going.
Definitely, I think it's essential, really, to keep going, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of positive vibes, thank you to everyone who's leaving comments on the live feed at the moment. If you have any questions for our panelists, please do ask them, and we will do our best to answer them. Eve, how did you keep the hope going well-grounded during COVID?
So I think as an organisation, I mean, I think opportunity and providing opportunity in the face of adversity is everything we stand for. So, you know, it would be remiss of us not to acknowledge the challenges of unemployment we are facing and are going to face, especially with people that have been in low paid jobs or people that have been in unsecure employment. Recent research has, you know, shown that 1 in 7 young people are unemployed, and that's double the amount of an older generation. So young people are going to be specifically hardly hit by the pandemic and the aftermath. So, you know, that is a sober, it is a reality that we are facing. But I think what we have here today is the opportunity that we are starting to see. So over the last few months, we've got 18 people into work, you know, and we are seeing different types of employment and different opportunities that we are trying to respond to as quickly as possible. So I think we keep positivity and hope in the organisation by our role, we feel, is to empower the individuals we work with, and that's both our graduates, our new trainees, and the wider industry, of staying kind of both technically up to date, but broadening that technical skill set. So looking much more at trading, sensory, brew, so extending it from focus on the barista skills, looking at getting people COVID delivery safe. So our training next week will do a lot of that focus of what does it mean working in a cafe or being part of the coffee industry during the pandemic. And so almost like trying to be quite solution focused to what is coming, we are looking at. And on the other side is, you know, we are seeing opportunities from the government around a plan for jobs, and therefore creating programs and courses that are both blended and that are both virtual and face-to-face, where we can develop coffee professionals for the roles that we will see in these buoyant parts of the coffee community. So I think that drive and that motivation we have as an organisation to be there for people and to support them to continue in their career is what ultimately gives us hope, and seeing that there are positive stories gives us the energy and the power to continue, because we too as an organisation, you know, lost 40% of our revenue overnight because we were unable to start building that trade to continue with some of our activity. So, you know, that is we have to keep that hope and that vision for the future.
It's nice now we've got some hindsight, because that initial shock of the whole situation is pretty crazy. You must be so excited to get people back into the academy again next week. So so excited for people.
I mean, I'm excited. Can you imagine what Shifa, our barista trainer, is like?
She was the messaging the other day saying that she's ready to fire up machines as well. Anybody who's not had the pleasure of meeting a Shifa, I look forward to you meeting a Shifa, because she really is a legend, as most of the team, all of the team are well-grounded are. I'd like to move on quickly about the support that Well-Grounded's been able to give the grads during this. Ashely, what support have you had from Well-Grounded that you found so unique?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of support from Well-Grounded during this time. I've taken part in the online training, which has been sensory skills training. So kind of specific coffee skills, which has been great to kind of continue building my abilities and coffee skills. But then also the kind of job searching support, you know, both Ashifa and Claire have been available to me if I have an interview coming up, you know, having a call beforehand and saying, let's just talk through like what kinds of things are going to come up in this interview, and what kinds of things they're going to ask you to do in a trial, and then also job support in terms of Well-Grounded has been a fantastic resource for knowing the organizations across London that are hiring, and what kind of the situation has been like at different coffee shops. And so kind of being able to give that insight so that I know where to put my resources as well in terms of where to be looking for a position.
How was it doing sensory courses virtually? How did you find that?
Really fun. I mean, Ashifa did a great job of preparing us kind of little worksheets. So we would do a set of skills like looking at different acids, and we kind of go out and buy lemons and limes and make little concoctions and taste them all. And then we would have a discussion at the end of the week, kind of talking through what we tasted and what our experiences had been with tasting those different flavors, and maybe how our environments, obviously we're all doing it in a very different environment, so how our environments might affect what we're tasting and how we're kind of having these experiences. So yeah, it's been really great.
I guess that there's you can standardize that sensory experience. You can all try and do the same thing, but those environmental factors can make an impact. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Olivia, yourself, how have you found the support so unique during this?
Well, Well-Grounded have been absolutely amazing as ever. Like, of course, this is a very uncertain time for the industry, but they've offered like so much support for graduates virtually, whether it's like mental health check-ins, like answering job queries or training sessions, like industry discussions through Zoom calls and stuff, and just providing resources. And I really enjoyed the sensory workshops, because one of my like biggest fears, even though I had a job and retained the job, I thought I would forget my coffee skills and knowledge throughout the lockdown. And obviously not having a machine and maybe home brewing, you could kind of keep that going, but just the language and the vocabulary to be able to talk about coffee that you kind of need as a barista, I felt that I would lose. But our wonderful trainer, Ashifa, has led so many interesting virtual training sessions. So as Ashely said, we done loads of things on like acidity, bitterness, sweetness detection, and we would do different stuff that I wouldn't even realize, like how your tasting will differ from a quiet room compared to a loud room. And we'd be like, no, that's not going to make a difference. And then you're like, whoa, it actually really does. And then we've also been doing like a reading club as well. So we've read a few different texts. So one of them was James Hoffmann's The World Atlas of Coffee. Recently an article by Professor Charles Spence. It was talking about the influence of the coffee cup on your multi-sensory tasting experience. So how the drinking vessel influences your tasting experience. So like different colors might make you think the same drink will taste maybe more acidic in one or more sweet in another. And I definitely feel like these are things that I can take on board and kind of introduce them into my daily work when I get back to work. So it's been keeping those kind of creative juices flowing, I would say.
Fantastic, thank you. Nick, what's your coffee experience and background?
So it's probably a bit kind of limited recently, to be honest. So I worked as a barista for kind of many years, but about 10 years ago now. So it feels like a long time back. More recently, I've been working in kind of higher education and other jobs. So it's always kind of been a dream to open my own place. So to be honest, Well Grounded have been really useful in that aspect, because it's useful to have kind of resources, obviously locally and close, you can help with. Well, obviously employment being one, and the industry now being another, just kind of genning up on things like that before opening. But yeah, in terms of employment, I thought Well Grounded were brilliant in terms of when I advertised the role. They put candidates forward who were really well suited to the position, and the kind of unique aspect of being both involved in specialty coffee and kind of craft beer. I'll introduce you to George briefly, if that's all right. He's here. He's working at the moment, so I can just.
Oh, great.
George, you want to just quickly say hello to the guys?
Hey, George.
Yeah,
Nice to see you.
George's my one and only employee. But yeah, we recruited him through Well Grounded. He's been an absolute superstar for us. Since he started. I'll let him get back to work now. He's been brilliant. And I think just knowing that he'd had that kind of training from Well Grounded was really reassuring to me, to know that he'd gone through the program, graduated, and was, I guess, kind of one of the things I was looking for was employees that were kind of keen to learn and keen to kind of develop their own skills. And I think you kind of know that's the case if someone's gone through the program at Well Grounded and graduated. I think that kind of ticks a box automatically. So it kind of made it a bit easier when I was recruiting, I think, to kind of look at candidates that were put forward to me by Claire who had gone through the course. I'm not sure if I actually answered your question in the end there, Dan.
No, you did. Because it was when hearing Ashely and Olivia talk about the online training that they've done, it's just me thinking that it's incredible that you're able to put, staff out there who can then feed back those skill sets to the employer as well. Because, as a business, you're very much tied up with the running of the business. So to be able to have that knowledge imparted to you from the graduates is...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of a weight off almost as an employer to kind of know that, someone has recently gone through a course like that and they've received really strong training. So recently, so that was really helpful.
Yeah, comfort for you as an employer, and then confidence in the graduates as well, because they've got...
Exactly, and as I think Olivia mentioned, the continued professional development that Well Grounded offer is also really useful for kind of having baristas kind of like being able to go back and receive training on kind of specific elements that maybe they don't feel so confident in, or they need a bit more work with. Again, is really reassuring, and so top work.
Eve, from your perspective, what would you say makes Well Grounded support so unique?
I think that what we're trying to do is pull lots of different parts of the community together. So the individuals that we obviously work with, the industry, but also the community. So I think as a not-for-profit organisation, that gives us that unique position to ensure that we can find diverse talent and get them the skills that they need across both employment, but also obviously the specialty coffee, and then transition them into what is such a supportive network of our industry partners, and also work with the local authorities, hopefully linking and being the conduit between, if the jobs plan for jobs is something that we can connect employers to be able to access talent, then that will hopefully give a lot more people jobs. So, which is what we're here to do. So I think that's what I think is our unique viewpoint, is that we have that ability to bring those parts of the community together. And I think, what we are a free service for our graduates, and we are not having any recruitment fees for a whole year, at least, to support the industry to come, to begin to thrive again. And so we can just work with lots of different partners and also provide our learning to others. So the the guys here have been amazing at talking about what we've provided, but we are really up for sharing that learning and sharing that resource with other employers, with other hospitality workers. So how can we use our resource best to support as many people as possible through that close connection to lots of different partners?
Have you done a lot of like virtual roundtables or lots of online discussions with employers?
Yeah, so as Olivia said, we Ashely has been running industry roundtables, but obviously we're doing a lot of work with employers that our graduates are with, to see what support we can offer. So some of our big employers are contract caterers, who are obviously experiencing different challenges at this point. So how can we best support their staff during this time, talking around what furlough means, right? Doing videos around that to send to our graduates. What are the small things that we can provide the industry with so that we can all come back stronger? And also we're trying to build funds from the kind of not-for-profit sector to enable us to continue this work, because we have to also survive somehow.
Thank you. Just moving along a little bit, Ashely, have you started working for design, and are you in the position at the moment and working day to day?
Yes, I am, but the shop is not open yet. So right now it's a lot of, we're just getting everything ready, and we're hoping to open on Tuesday. So
exciting. Enjoy.
Thanks.
I heard that you sewed your own barista apron as well.
I did, yes, yeah. Keeping busy in lockdown.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, it's very much keeping the mind and heart busy. But that's writing blogs like Olivia has as well, and or being able to be creative. That's fantastic. Nick, we kind of touched on this a bit earlier, but as an employer, what has been the impact of COVID-19 with the hiring and retention process? Had you had something planned already before this all kicked in?
Yeah, I had kind of planned for employment, but I think probably in a way, luckily for me, I hadn't got to the stage where I'd actually recruited anyone before lockdown. So I didn't have the tough job of handling furlough or any of those kind of schemes. Yeah, I think it made me think a lot more about kind of how I was going to employ, and making sure I employed the right person. I think, as I touched upon earlier, as you say, kind of getting someone in who was kind of keen to learn, keen to be kind of a big part of what I'm trying to do, really. Like, so as I said, we're a very small business, we're only just starting out, so I wanted to recruit people who I thought kind of contribute kind of beyond the practical aspect of being a barista and kind of the strategy of the business. So thinking about our suppliers and thinking about kind of the coffee industry as a whole, kind of I wanted people who are interested in kind of attending industry events and kind of getting involved maybe more. I think sometimes there can be a view of kind of baristas as kind of maybe being a stopgap in someone's kind of like life or their career maybe, but I wanted kind of people who were looking for a role in hospitality and were looking for that as a career. So I think that kind of came through maybe, and I had a lot more time to think about it over the lockdown period and how I was going to go about recruiting. And that probably led me to kind of, engage with the Well-Grounded program more and think about, what they had to offer and how they trained their graduates. I think schemes that the government have introduced as well, like I think you mentioned the Plan for Jobs and the Kickstarter scheme around recruitment of apprentices. Is kind of quite interesting, and that's something I think we'll be thinking about a bit more in the future. So the recruitment of kind of 18 to 24-year-olds, the government are providing kind of financial incentives for that, but it's also a good opportunity to, as an employer, to think about like professional development that we offer. So I think I thought a lot more about a plan for kind of developing staff when they're here. That also includes resources that Well-Grounded can offer, but also the way we engage with the industry as a whole, and sending employees to events and getting them involved as much as possible in the kind of day-to-day running of the business, and preparing them to kind of progress in their careers beyond kind of just working on the machine, I guess. Yeah.
You made a good point as well about people thinking that being a barista is a stopgap than it is in a.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I remember going to Australia in my gap year when I was 19 years old, and it was the first time I really saw that hospitality was a totally viable career. Like, I was the only person working in a lot of the coffee shops, and it was so fresh after coming from the UK, where a lot of people did it as a Saturday job. But like, there's proper accreditation here, and there's real career trajectories. And I think you've had people leave industries to come into hospitality, haven't you? Because it's such an attractive, viable industry.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry. No, I think Nick also point around kind of that locality, how important the locality now is. So for us, we're always about local people into local jobs. So connecting people that have walked past the coffee shop and not thought it would be a viable career option, whether that's because of the way it looks and they don't think that, on the fact that they don't access that on a day-to-day basis themselves, you know, or that they don't think they have the skills to do it. So it's around how do we break down those barriers to ensure that someone from the local community feels that they can apply for that role, especially in these current times when we want to reduce the use of transport. And I think talking, you know, we've been working, a load of us have been working to develop an apprenticeship, a coffee apprenticeship for 4 years now, and it was rejected over and over again. But now I really think we're going to have more impetus to develop qualifications specifically around coffee professionals in specialty coffee, and that is really exciting as an industry, and how we utilize these opportunities and these government initiatives as the detail comes out, because the problem is the detail isn't quite there yet to know how we can initiate it, but to make sure that those pathways and those career progressions across the industry, including the barista roles, but moving into other areas, are made much more attainable to people.
Thank you. Ashely and Olivia, this one's for you. What initially drew you into contacting Well Grounded and getting into the industry, Ashely?
Yeah, I was in freelance theater, and obviously that's a very unstable career. And so I love coffee, and I love coffee shops and coffee shop culture. And I was looking for barista jobs, but just felt that I didn't have the kind of technical skill set to get those positions. So I applied for Well Grounded initially because of that, but kind of since doing it, I've really felt I am really excited about this industry and the kind of career paths that are open. And something that Well Grounded really helped me to develop is the soft skills around like feeling resilient and confident, and all of those kind of customer facing things that I never really thought as much about in this industry. And so it was a really incredible experience to kind of help me realize that there is this whole industry and there's so many exciting opportunities, I think, in specialty coffee. Yeah, so that's what initially drew me to it.
That is the thing that's a big draw, not a big draw, but a massive benefit of Well Grounded is that soft skills that people not take for granted, but like you said, it's such a valuable thing to have, just that confidence as well, right? Have that instilled in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Olivia, what drew you to Well Grounded in the industry?
So I graduated from the University of Exeter with an English degree last summer. But whilst I was in Exeter, I really enjoyed their coffee scene. They have an amazing coffee scene in the southwest and Devon in general. So I really discovered my passion for coffee there. And we even had like a coffee society there at the university, which is quite geekily sad, but it was really, really interesting. Like we would have cuppings. So when I was just searching for jobs after university, I thought, you know what, I could actually consider being a barista as a proper career because I really love it. And seeing how much going into it, just from the outside as a consumer, as a customer, I could see there was so much that went into it. There was so much care. And like, I'm that type of person who really like loves to go and see my local friendly barista and just like really appreciates when they know my order and stuff like that. So I knew there was just so much involved, not just the customer service side, but the skill side as well. So I applied for the well-grounded opportunity, and literally it is so much, like, it's delivered so much more than I ever thought it could. And there were so many things, like Ashely was saying, with the soft skills that I hadn't realized. I kind of lacked confidence in my own abilities. So even stuff like just being told, yeah, your milk looks great, it's nice and silky, and you've done it well. Just like hearing that kind of gratification is quite, like, it's quite childish to be like, yay, someone told me I've done well. But it's like, it's really great to just have that feedback, especially when you want to have confidence in yourself, when you're behind the bar. And I want my customers to feel as if I'm going to deliver a great cup of coffee, which means a lot to me. So I would hope me making it means a lot to them. Yeah, so
lovely sentiment, that really is. And I think it's that whole thing of it never hurts to tell someone good job, just to give a bit of love. Like, can't hurt to put any positive vibes out there, especially at the moment. So thank you.
And I think just on that, Dan,
Perfect.
Because we have different programs for the short programs and long programs, which are going to look slightly different as we go forward, obviously. I think something that we really believe in is as the diversity of our groups and the diversity of what people learn from each other. And so we have some of our trainees have had quite challenging lived experiences, and actually having everyone in a community together is building those soft skills around understanding other people's lived experiences is a really, I think, empowering thing for any individual, both the individual that's experienced it, but also the individuals that are part of their growth and development. So I think something around that kind of soft skills is absolutely essential. But for us, it's that wider cultural piece around building resilience and empathy, and creating an even richer community, local community.
You've also created a really safe space for everybody as well-grounded. I think you can safely say that people do feel comfortable to share their honest thoughts and feelings, and maybe not even in a big group. At least I know that you've got spaces there where you can break out and do things confidentially as well, which is really, really valuable and important. And Nick, how did you end up coming across Well-Grounded? How did you make that initial connection as an employer?
So it was actually kind of through a friend of a friend. Well, a friend of a friend, yeah. So Eve knows a friend of ours, Leanne, and she kind of put me in contact with Well-Grounded, and it went from there, really. So yeah, it's kind of a word of mouth thing, I suppose, for me. But yeah, I guess it works in many different ways, doesn't it? For different people, but. Yeah, I'm very glad to Leanne for putting me in contact with Eve and Well-Grounded. It's worked out really well for us, so thanks to her.
And that's through a connection that you already had as well. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Persistence is something that Well-Grounded is known for. Yeah. So if you put a vacancy on Instagram, guys, we might find it and get in touch and see if we can help.
Yeah, yeah, that works for us.
Maybe I was going to address it at the end, maybe about how people can get in touch as an employer, because obviously we need to include that. Look at the future, what do you think the future looks like for you, Ashely? Are you optimistic about what lies ahead for your career and your personal stuff?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's really exciting to be part of a shop that's just opening at this time. Obviously, there are unique challenges, but I think it's in a good area, and I feel like I'm learning so much every day that I go to work. I'm learning about running a coffee shop. I'm continuing to improve my barista skills. I have also kind of recently become a little bit obsessed with watching barista competitions. I mean, there's so many back catalogs of that online, so that's something that I would love to try at some point. And I just think that everyone I've met in the coffee industry has been so supportive, and it's not a competitive industry. Everybody wants to share their knowledge and wants to establish connections with you and kind of hear about your experiences and see how they can kind of be part of your journey and help you. I mean, and so I'm incredibly optimistic about my career and about the future of specialty coffee.
I look forward to seeing your competition routine in the future then. Yeah. And Olivia, for you moving forward professionally and personally, optimistic?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely agree with Ashely. There is so much room for growth within the coffee industry, especially on so many different levels, whether it's like roasting or like being front of house. And there's literally so many opportunities available, I think. And I would say that there are so many people, especially within like gentlemen baristas and well-grounded, that are like ready to support, but also extremely passionate in seeing people grow, which I just find is so wonderful within an industry that is normally considered to be quite snobbish and a bit inaccessible. I think there are so many friendly people who just want to see everyone enjoy great coffee. And I hope I'm one of those people. So I have so much optimism for the future. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fantastic. It's also what you were saying about everybody wants to support one another, and you said earlier that in a viable career path as well, because you can start as a barista and you can love that and thrive within that. But I started as a barista and then inadvertently got into wholesale sales, which then led to being into marketing as well. There's so many different avenues to explore within coffee and hospitality, and it just makes me really happy to hear that it's not just a stepping stone. It's not a Saturday job, because communities are warm and inviting, and there's so much to learn within it. Nick, optimistic for the future, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, COVID's obviously changed the landscape of hospitality, well, overnight, pretty much. So I guess where you would think was a very kind of safe spot in a kind of business hub, maybe in the centre of London, is now not looking so much, but out in kind of local high streets, there's a real opportunity, I think, to kind of capitalise on kind of some goodwill for local businesses, which we're hoping to kind of be a part of, I think. So yeah, from a personal point of view, from the business point of view, I think I'm quite optimistic. I think within coffee in general, there's so many opportunities, and panels like this, platforms like this, I think help to spread the word about kind of different potential careers within coffee beyond being a barista and working in a coffee shop. As you mentioned yourself, your own story is kind of interesting and inspiring. So yeah, I think there's plenty to be optimistic about out there, and plenty of career options within hospitality and within specialty coffee. So yeah, great.
You guys are getting me all emotional on a Friday. Eve, what about you? Optimistic with everything that's ahead for Well Grounded? Because you've got some really exciting stuff. It's a great chapter for you guys there.
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, like it's been it's really tough, and it's really, we see and we hear how hard it is for people right now, and so I want to also acknowledge that, both in terms of our employers but the individuals we work with. But we are excited about what we can do to support more people, because the need for organisations like that, ours, is greater than ever. Overnight we saw the demand for our services increase by 400%, over 400%. So we are ringing people every day to check on their mental health. We are providing food boxes. We are providing virtual training. So it's exciting that we can provide opportunities and we can be that link for employers. So if you are an employer and you do want to access learning and development, you do want to become, we have a working party that's looking at developing new programs and what suits employers best right now, what you need. We would really love to kind of get to kind of speak to you. So we're excited about what we can do to be part of the solution going forward, the programs we can deliver, how we can deliver them, how we can get more people into work, how we can support the people that might lose their job in hospitality and then get them back into work. Or if they decide to transition into another career, we're also supporting people do that, because employability skills, soft skills are unilateral, and they are important across all industries. So for us, we're really excited about what we can do for our social change as an organization. It is also, we've had to pivot. So we have a coffee product with Ozone Coffee Roasters at the moment, trying to find different ways that we can build back our reserves so that we can continue to provide the service across our community. So yeah, excited, but also realize the climate that we're in.
Yeah, realistic optimism. Yeah. How can employers get in touch with you if they wanted to discuss recruitment?
Yes, so our email address is, well, mine is Eve, or info@wellgroundedjobs. That's the bit that people forget, wellgroundedjobs.co.uk. That's our website, wellgroundedjobs.co.uk. Instagram, wellgroundedhq, the same as Twitter. All of those, we will get back to you. And I think Instagram's a really good place with us with the coffee industry. It tends to be where a lot of coffee industry people engage with us. So send us a message, get in touch, and one of us will get back to you. And I think, you know, if there is an individual that needs our support, and hopefully you are watching, again, use those forums to get in touch with us, and we will get one of our team to ring you and see how we can help.
We'll do the follow-up blog as well. We'll upload this. We'll make sure all contact information and details are clearly laid out as well.
And I just want to say that we have food, like boxes and parcels, available still. So if people need kind of basic food and produce, we've got those available for anyone who needs them right now. So just, again, get in touch with on those details, and we can get them out to you.
Thank you, Eve. Nick, how can people go at Perkins and come and support?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Dan? I didn't quite get.
Yeah, of course. I said, how can people come and support you at Perkins? Whereabouts are you based?
Oh, so we're based up in Tottenham, North London, so kind of around Seven Sisters area, tube-wise. So yeah, I mean, we're open at the moment. We're kind of gradually building our opening hours. We're open Thursdays to Sundays at the moment. Yeah, people can come down and grab a coffee or grab a beer. We're also running kind of local deliveries still on Thursdays and Fridays. We have a kind of a web shop on our Instagram and things like that. So yeah, it'd be great for people to come down and check us out, see what they think.
I'm George, yeah, and show some love.
Yeah.
Olivia, which Gentleman Baristas site again are you going to be working at when you're back off furlough, so people can come and say?
Borough, so the coffee house, the original one.
I love that space. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really great. And it's got a new facelift. I haven't seen it yet myself, but it's got it's been newly kind of redone. So that's also very exciting.
I look forward to you being able to get back to Gentleman Baristas as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Starting Tuesday, how can people come and say hello to you at St. Nine?
Yeah, so St. Nine Coffee, we're at 67 Southwark Street, so close to London Bridge, very close to Gentleman Baristas as well. And we're Instagram at St. Nine Coffee.
Thank you very, very much. I've got to wrap things up because I'm trying to run a tight ship, but I could chat with you guys for ages, and I'm really looking forward to being able to come back, Eve, to the Academy as well, when we can start doing the Sustainable Recruitment Partner Series you were enjoying doing with Darshika. So yeah, I hope we can do those very soon.
Definitely, we can do them virtually as well. So.
Oh yeah, who'd have thought that? Just like this. This is pretty much a Sustainable Recruitment Partner Series style event as well. So we'll make sure that we'll shout about it. If we can't get it sped up and be able to do it in person, yeah, let's book in an online one soon. Keep everyone updated. God, lots of love, lots of respect. Thank you so much for being a part of today, all four of you. And Eve, on behalf of Marzocco, we're honoured to be able to work with you guys. Like I said, you're all emotional on a Friday. You continue to do it. So wish you all nothing but the best, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers, Dan.
That's all right. Take care.